Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Post PAX Gigantic Community Council. On cam, we are obviously joined by Timber. Wave, Timber. Hi. There she is with her mug. Uh, Patrick, whose voice is like an angel that never shuts up. And we have some players from the actual tournament, Ben and Ben 2, because we don't have a name for him.
Ben too, nice.
So they actually were with Team Alpha, if I recall. Correct. So we also, if you guys look, you have a huge number of actual participants inside of TeamSpeak. So we're gonna get this going. Do me a favor, guys. Stay interactive. Ask questions. Put questions in brackets, and I'm gonna have Patrick type that into chat for us, so we know. Hey, you have to do work. Don't complain. And do me a favor, also tweet this out. Let's try and get as much hype behind this as possible. There is 19 people in TeamSpeak. All right, and so we're going to turn this over real quick to a collective hello from just the mass of everyone. So everyone unmute your mic. We're going to do this as a group. All right, on three, we're going to all say hello. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
And that's our show. So thanks for stopping by. No, so we're gonna turn this right over and we're gonna get started. Obviously, PAX South, PAX Prime is coming up. PAX East just happened, and there was a huge turnout. And so we want to just jump right into it. And we're gonna start down at the bottom, and just the people who went to PAX. We want to hear about your experience. Try and keep it to about 30 seconds. Patrick, for you, that's like 5 seconds of talking. So just slow it down, Chipmunk. So Zappo, tell us about your experience at PAX.
I had a great time at PAX. I mean, I got up there Thursday. It was snowing a lot, but besides that, it was a pretty smooth drive. I worked the floor basically all 3 days. Got to play with the press a little bit. Met a ton of people, and it was basically an awesome experiment. Experience. And
Experiment?
All the Motigans.
Knew it.
Experiments. All the Motigans were awesome, and yeah, shout out to all of them for hosting such a great time for all of us.
All right. Maverick?
I mean, I had a blast with the Motiga people at PAX, though I think Troy and them think my brother and I are stalking them at this point, because we wound up at the same bar that they all went to Sunday after the tournament, and then we're on the flight with them back to Seattle.
I'm fairly confident you're not the only person that Troy believes is stalking them.
Yeah, but yeah, Troy was the row behind us on the plane, so it got
funny.
a little awkward when we kept showing up in the same place. But overall, had a ton of fun, and the tournament was a real blast for us.
That makes me wonder about Troy in a plane because he's really tall. Like, really tall.
He slept the entire flight. So fun story. I don't think I'm going to be going too much with this, but he slept the entire flight, and a couple of the other Motiga people, right as we're about to land, we're trying to figure out where exactly over Seattle with us, and he just snaps awake and says, "Oh no, we're right there. There's the office," and goes back to sleep for like just up and asleep. Like he knew exactly what was going on, and then right back out till we landed.
Sounds like Troy.
Yeah. A short random story about the announcement party. Troy got really sick at the announcement party, and so he was in his hotel room sleeping. He had the keys to the van, which is what we were using to move all the stuff back to the studio. And Allie said she went into Troy's hotel room to get the keys, and his feet were sticking out past the bed because the bed was too short for Troy to lay in.
Oh, poor huge Troy.
Oh, Giganta Troy. So let's hear from Zucchero, I believe from Team Lana. Or is he AFK? Yeah. We'll come back to him. Rumpus, how about you, sir? How was your experience at PAX?
What's going on, guys? Oh, I had a great time. It was my second PAX. I felt like I did way more this time, but I was way more tired. We did a lot of partying between the Twitch party and hanging out with you guys Saturday night. It's a great time. We got really lucky, to be honest with you, between getting through the wait list, playing Overwatch like immediately, getting through the indie booth games immediately. We got a lot of stuff in real quick. And we were actually, what were we, like 15th on the waiting list to play for the tournament. And we got in there. So overall, really
Yeah.
lucky and a great time.
Yeah, we had a considerable amount of no-shows for the actual players as well as from the wait list, but it still ended up as to where we had like 18 or 19 actual teams who were across both lists show up for the tournament. So even though we had like people who weren't there, we still had enough people to fill everyone in.
Right on. Chuckles. And Rumpus, please go ahead and click that mute button again for me.
Hey, what's up, everybody? So, we all came up together, all of Team Lana, the four of us. So we pretty much had like the same experience with PAX. We all got lucky, like not a lot of lines and stuff. And our fifth, if you're out there, good job. And our first fifth, because we actually went through 2 random 5 people. Who the first guy played in the first round of the tournament, and then he decided he had to leave and go walk the show floor. And if he probably stayed, he would have been coming to Seattle with us to PAX Prime. So if you're out there, send us a message.
You're invisible. What is it? You're sleepless in Seattle lover.
Yeah.
All right, Dreback. And if I hack your name apart, please correct me. Hello.
Hello.
It's your turn. Spotlight's on you, Dreback.
I think his mic may not be working because he's
Okay.
definitely not muted.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, Dreback, I answered to both. But, yeah, I had a great time. And Friday, I was lucky enough to get called up on the MSI esports booth. And I was doing a little bit of crazy things to get called up there. But I got called up and Telda coached us, and our team just stomped up there. So I was like, that game was awesome. It was a lot of fun. So I made sure we got to play it Saturday and then went to 162 or whatever that room was and spent a very large portion of the next 2 days there.
Sweet. Alpha Zion. That's actually an awesome name. I'm the Alpha Zion.
yeah, it really has a nice ring to it.
So yeah, we also had a great time at PAX. We first day tried out a bunch of the games on the show floor. Second day, one of our friends, actually Kebe, Maverick's brother, he said like, "Hey, you guys should check out this game." So we went over to the booth, and the line was enormous. So they directed us upstairs to the room where they had the stages set up, and we actually got to play. I played my first game ever on that stage on Saturday, and we loved it. And we were like, "Hey guys, let's like try hard this." They said there's a tournament tomorrow, so we got a few more practice games in Saturday, played a few games at the party on Saturday night, and then showed up on Sunday. It was awesome.
It's awesome. So we actually have some new additions. Seriously, Carla has joined us. So it's Seriously, Carla. Let's hear about your experience at PAX.
I'm currently in transit right now, so I'm just gonna stay quiet until a little bit later.
Oh, drive safe. Turtle Duckman.
I think he's muted completely,
Oh, okay.
like deafened and everything.
Oh, he can't even hear us. Oh, he's probably listening to TeamSpeak. Yeah, that's not going to work out well for him at all. Let's literally legit.
I'm actually at work right now. I thought it was going to end earlier than it did, so you can come back to me later if there's time.
What do you do?
I'm a technical director, which means I film classes in the back and basically play video games while I watch a professor give a lecture.
That's exactly
Actually, just
what I
ended, so I'm good to go.
Outstanding.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So basically, I had never heard of the game or anything, and I kind of wasn't really into like try harding that hard when we first like were about to play, and then we just like whooped in the round of 16, and we were like, all right, like maybe we got a chance, and then we started playing some more, and we won the round of 8, and we were like super pumped about that and having a ton of fun. Like I love competing and everything, so we were going at it, and then we lost in the semifinals, but honestly, like, it was the most fun I've ever had, like, playing a video game, just, like, with the environment and the commentators and, like, everyone just going at it and how pumped everyone's getting. And it really created a game that could just come down to the wire and just have, like, huge performances just really at the very end. So I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Locksmith, are you actually with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello.
Hey there.
Were you at PAX?
No, I couldn't make it out. Wait, one sec.
If I remember, he is our friend from the island of Jamaica.
That is correct. No, I couldn't make it out to PAX. It's, just not in the cards right now. Yeah, a bit tight on the funds, but maybe I can make it to PAX Prime. I'm trying to raise some money for that.
Well,
Were you
GLG
watching the
stands for
stream the whole time?
Gorgeous League Gamers or something, right?
Good-looking gamers, yeah.
None of us apply.
Oh, please, everybody applies.
I also when we'll talk with you more here in just a little bit, Locksmith. But I also wasn't in PAX because my wife had a baby a few days before that, so he'll make his appearance on the stream at some point or another, and Timber will squeal.
Oh, so loud. Prepare it.
Yeah, I saw your kid pointing to his new favorite game.
Play with the booby.
What? No, I saw your kid
That's his
pointing
favorite game right now.
No, I believe you tweeted out an image of
Yeah.
your kid pointing at Gigantic.
Well, I intentionally wore my black Motiga shirt before or when he was born, so I knew we were going to the birthing center to have the baby. So I put on my black Motiga shirt, and actually had my first picture with my son in a Motiga shirt. So it was kind of ceremonious for me. So Wolfman, I know you and Team Tiny, which Team Tiny is actually the GG Unleashed gigantic team. So let's hear from you guys and your experience at PAX.
Oh my god, it was literally the most fun I personally have probably ever had in my entire life. It was just funny to think that 2 months ago I was just a fan showing up at South, and then now I was here, like 3 days ago, just having a blast representing the company, talking to all sorts of people who were fans. They didn't even care that they were waiting like 2 hours in line just to play like a 25-minute game. Like, that was just the coolest thing. Like, everyone was just so excited, and it was fun just talking to every single person, like on the floor or upstairs in the lounge. It was an absolutely fantastic time, and I'm so happy that we went.
Yeah, I'm rather jealous, but let's not wear that hat tonight. Soul! You have a tiny soul. We'd like to hear from you.
Hello. Yeah, pretty much in line with what Wolfie said. Never imagined that a game that I played at PAX South would lead me to PAX East and be able to give back to the community that I love so much. Basically stayed in the theater booth and coached a lot of people, which was cool because I don't normally go out and meet people, but kind of helping out forced me to introduce myself to a ton of awesome people, and I got to meet so many potential like community members that are just, I can't wait to play with them. I can't wait to just hang out and just shoot things with Gigantic and just meet everyone again. With that said, still incredibly tired. I don't think I've worked that hard in a long time. But it was definitely worth it, and I'm definitely glad I was able to go.
Outstanding. Yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to make it. Now I want to move back a second. Ben, who are you in TeamSpeak?
You mean on camera?
No, in TeamSpeak. You're Zion.
Zion.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
The person behind you, can we hear from him about his experience?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so it was actually really interesting how, on the first day, like, you just expect that, you go down to the floor and play. But, we just went straight up to the theater room and I got our first games in there. And it was great because, a lot of people, there wasn't as many people, so we got to get a lot of games in, and it was really fun. We actually had like 7 or 8 people who we were playing intermittently as other people were playing and doing other stuff at PAX. So we could only get 5 for the tournament, obviously. And I ended up sitting out for the tournament and helping coach. And it was just like, I still had a whole lot of fun. It was really great to see the game from an analytical perspective, coming from mainly League of Legends. A lot of the strategy I could kind of pull from that and help make calls and stuff like that. And it was just a lot of fun. And everyone in Montego was great. The party Saturday was great. Just had a lot of fun.
That's one thing I can say about Motiga is they know how to party and drink and drink and drink some more.
Open bar.
Yeah. So let's well, I know Short Bus, you weren't there, but let's hear about your experience at PAX.
I do. I have experiences at PAX. So I was supposed to go due to things I wasn't able to. I want to thank, actually, Noirbot brought me PAX via Snapchat. I would wake up every morning with like 7 Snapchats from him. And it was supposed to be Bazile also, but Baz decided to send me only 2 Snapchats.
There's no Wi-Fi that I could have used because the convention center Wi-Fi was like the slowest thing since bog modems.
Look,
so
I wanna believe you.
Nothing
I wanna.
do. I'm sorry.
So I got to experience a lot of that, the setup, the everything. So I just want to thank you so much. That was so cool. I definitely, the first Snapchat I got, I just like sobbed into a Midori sour. Like, that's so beautiful. They're working so hard. So then I finally get 2 from Baz. Speaking of partying, because nobody parties harder than Motiga. So I finally get a Snapchat. I'm all excited, and it's literally, I wish I had saved it. It's this face. Like his eyes are half closed. I partied too hard. And then the following Snapchat. Yeah, it was the funniest thing. And the following Snapchat was this face. I'm so tired. I'm going home. And that was it. So that was my experience as PAX. It was great. It was almost as good as South. So
almost.
It's good.
With less free alcohol.
But yeah, I had to pay for it all myself. It was a nightmare.
Schmugglydorf, let's just move quickly along that conversation.
I had a lot of. I spent most of my time up in the theater upstairs, 162 for those people who went up there, and just coached pretty much most of the teams that whenever Seoul or Noirbot weren't up there coaching. I also handled a lot of the signups for the board as well. So when people were like, "This is our team name," I'm like, "Okay." We had some interesting names, but a lot of them. I mean, I think it was either their first or one of their secondary games. I coached Alpha up in the theater for one of their games because I remember I was standing behind you guys as Amani before I had like even fully met you guys on Sunday morning.
Schmugglydorf, I gotta cut you off, buddy. I told you guys before we go into this, we don't talk about Alpha. I'm kidding. See, it's an NDA joke. I get very few of them, so.
What Alpha? What's that? But they were. I mean, I had just so much fun meeting so many great members of the community. I mean, a lot of people from other communities that I've been a member of, and getting to work with such an incredible group of people. There's really no way to describe the feeling of literally meeting people 3 days before and hugging them goodbye on your way out. There's no way to describe how awesome that feels.
And you may have even cried a little bit.
On the inside.
Hey, when I left PAX South, dude, I cried. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna wear that. I'll just PAX. But
I lasted a day before the tears came.
Oh, dude, it's family, and we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. Perry, Dom Perry.
Hello. Yeah, no, I had a very much the same experience that Shmoo had. I mean, I pretty much sat up in the theater both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, either running the tournament or coaching the tournament, except I was a little less effective than Shmoo, evidently, given that I think every single team I coached burned out before the semifinals, which was sad and disappointing. And I mean, I don't know, disappointing is probably not the right word, but it was tough. I mean, it's like seeing your kids lose at basketball or whatever sport. It's like, oh, you tried so hard. But
here's a blue ribbon still.
I want to hug all you guys. But I mean, at the same time, it was great. It was good to see. I think that probably the best thing about it, like as far as being involved in the tournament, like even though a lot of the teams I coached like didn't make it, and a lot of them went out in the first round, it was like a lot of people were coming up to me like throughout the next couple rounds, being like, "Oh my god, thank you so much! Like this was so much fun! Like I absolutely want to keep playing! Like I can't wait to get into alpha and be able to like play with you guys again, or I want to keep becoming better at this game." And this was like the one of the best experiences at PAX, and that was so like edifying and awesome to be a part of bringing people that much happiness.
Yeah, there's something that's something we'll talk about here a little bit more. Matt, you want to say hello? Matt's been an amazing asset to GG Unleashed. He actually, if you've looked at the recaps, if you missed PAX, those recaps were actually put together by the ladies and gentlemen, Matt.
What am I supposed to say?
Hi, is a good
Round
start.
of applause.
Oh, what's up, everyone?
Good start. Matt and I are actually going to meet next month and have cigars in downtown DC.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
So if anybody's around the Washington DC area on April 6th, will join us for some cigars.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, sure, no problem. No problem.
I'll just drive up there. It'll be fine.
That's fine. I look forward to it. Eric.
No.
Are you here, Eric? Eric is also another member of the GGU team. Nope, he's not. Well, I guess there's only one person left to talk to.
I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, hi, Eric.
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to say I joined the team after PAX South. These PAX events are really awesome for making the community grow. It's like how I got into the game. So I'm really excited about it. Yeah, I'm glad to hear so many people had a good experience. I write for the website, and yeah, I just wanted to say hey. Hi.
He writes awesome for the website. Oh my God, put that picture away, Timber. Oh, you should probably go get a new phone.
That's so good.
So here's where the challenge comes in, guys. Patrick is very long-winded.
I'll be quick. Don't worry.
All right,
I'll be quick.
I'm going to time you.
All right.
Stand by.
All right. So, okay.
No, go ahead.
Standing by.
Go ahead.
Can I talk now?
Yes.
Okay. So PAX East was freaking awesome. I got to meet a lot of really cool community guys and gals, and I think my my most memorable. You're such an asshole. Memorable kind of meeting experience was finally being able to kind of reconnect with Team Tiny and kind of get to know them on more of a personal level. They're just an awesome group of guys, and got to meet a lot of the devs, just more of the devs. It was really cool to kind of talk to some of the devs that you talk to on Twitter and social media and that kind of stuff. So it was a great experience, and I can't wait for more. So there you go, 1 second off. Gosh dang it.
Too much. All right.
You're fired.
It was counting
You're
down.
fired.
You're fired. Get out of here. So I know we have a lot of people, guys, so we're going to try and breeze through this. I want everyone to go ahead and hit that mute button on their microphone. And I'm going to pose the first question, and that's going to be a really straightforward question. It's for anybody who wants to be involved. Schmiggly doors, no exception.
God damn it.
I'm sorry, I got to make you work, buddy. Put down that game. So the first question is going to be, do we feel that any community before Gigantic has done so, or any company rather before Motiga and Gigantic has done so much for the community in general? Zappo.
I gotta say, I haven't been involved in a lot of communities, but I've heard about it, about a lot of them, and I gotta say, I'd have to say no for a game being there's this early on and doing so much for us in general. One thing I forgot to mention was that Greg, one of the developers on Gigantic, actually flew himself out to PAX East to come just say hi to all of us, and he took time off from work just to do that, which is incredible because I don't know many developers that would do that for the community.
Hashtag GregFest.
Greg is an amazing guy. His mom actually lives.
Oh, yeah.
His
We
mom
need to
lives
have
40
Greg
minutes
Con.
from me.
That needs to
Greg
be a thing.
Con.
Mom is what?
We need to start a Greg Con.
His mom is what?
Hashtag GregCon.
Greg Con's a thing. Greg's
I
mom lives like
saw-
40 minutes from me. That's what I was saying.
Nice. I saw a blurry picture of him, and it was like hashtag Greg at PAX, and I didn't believe it, just like Bigfoot. I was like, that's BS. That's a blurry photo. He took that in his bathroom. So I'm glad to hear that that's true. I didn't believe it up until this point. That's incredible.
Yeah, he PM'd me. He's like, I worded it correctly. Motiga is not sending me to PAX. Not that I'm not going to PAX. Motiga didn't send him, and he actually went out there on his own dime. But so Perry, let's Perry. No offense. Let's hear from Rumpus. You from Team Lana.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I just wanted to add, like, I've never, ever been able to talk to and converse and deal with a group of developers or a company the way I did with Motiga. Everyone was super friendly, was to like a fault. To go into the room, to have this spot down on the floor, it was like mind-blowing. It felt like I was just hanging out with friends as opposed to a bunch of people that were making the game I was trying to play. It was pretty surreal, actually, on how nice they were.
Perry?
Yeah, I mean, so I think you guys all remember from Motiga is partnering with Microsoft stream last week. You know, I was kind of skeptical. I was kind of in a position where I was like, this could go horribly, horribly wrong. And so, I mean, one of the things that a lot of the community coaches got to participate in was, and I don't know how much both Lana and What Alpha got to realize this. So one of the guys that was running around that was one of the Motiga people was the CEO of Motiga, and that's Chris Chung, Mo Kills a Lot, hung out pretty much all weekend, and as a coach, getting to spend time with him and getting to talk with him about so hey, where do we go, like how did all of this stuff happen, like what do you feel about what's going on with Microsoft, be able to talk to him about here's my worries, here's what's going on, and be able to hear from him that's like just like everything I was able to hear from him really confirmed for me that like he knows what I feel, and his vision for the future of this game is very much in line with like where I want this game to go, where I feel like this game has a lot of potential to go. And just that was so comforting to hear that, like, as a company, that it's a bunch of people that are willing to talk on the level of this is what actual people need to hear about the future of this game.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I mean, talking to any of the devs, especially Chris, him being the CEO, it was just like very upfront, and it never felt like you got that vibe of, oh, they're just saying that so I feel better about what's going on with the game. It was never like that talking to any one of the devs on the floor. They were always just very upfront with you and honest about everything.
Locksmith?
Yes. I can't say that. Well, I can think of another company that did do a lot for the community, I think, and that would be Waystone Games. I don't think they necessarily have done as much, or did rather as much as Motigo, but they definitely they had playtests every week on stream and interacted with the community every week. They flew up people to cons to show the game off for them. You could talk with a lot of the dev team on Twitter and in the forums and stuff like that, and they would respond. So I mean, other than Waystone Games, I can't think of a company that has done that. Obviously Motigo.
Yeah, there's a lot of power behind what Motiga is doing, and I'll chime in after the tiny guys and the short bus.
Yeah, I really agree with, like, there's no company that I've ever, or any community that I've ever been a part of that's gotten to this level of absolutely freaking amazing with their team. Because one of the things that they keep on saying is they bring in these community members partially because they believe that we're all these really great guys that they can trust and they can understand, and that really kind of connect with them as people, but also because they know, as community members, we're some of the best people to talk about their game. And the fact that they not only understand that and respect that, but are willing to just dish that out to people is so much different than any other company I've ever seen.
Yeah, there's so much. Noir.
Oh goodness, I just forgot to remute. I mean,
Okay.
it was.
We just don't want to hear from you then.
It was awesome.
No, I'm kidding. Some call me Timber.
Some do. So yeah, I mean, a lot of it is they're incredibly hospitable. At South, I hung out with them just on this incredible level. And you meet them, and they're so willing to just hang with you, and I love that they were just like, "Hi, I'm a human being. You're a human being. Let's be humans." Like, cool. And I know I've said this before, but I need to say it again. Last day we were leaving, and Troy looked to me and said, "I'll be getting in contact with you. You are family." And just to hear it and the way he said it, like, "You are family," and it really has spread to the whole thing. Even though PAX is done, the hype just continues even from South. It's just because of that, because you're family, and that's really cool.
Yeah, there's something to be said about Motiga. I began my experience with Motiga a lot earlier than most people, just because I'm a loser, and made a website for fun. Patrick, you can stop nodding your head now. I made Motiga Unleashed last January before they even had a title announced. Really because I wanted to know what they were making, and really Troy moved to that company, and Troy is one of those people you just know is going to follow success, and we can see that now. But so they actually invited me and Don Icehole, who just got hired by Motiga, to San Francisco before the game was announced to help them announce the game. So we were there when IGN and all these people got their hands on Gigantic for the first time. They didn't need to bring me from Florida to San Francisco to help them show off their game, but they have enough respect and enough love for the community from day one to be able to that costs them money. So they put resources towards us. Everybody that's on the Reddit, everybody that's in IRC, everybody that has been to the Gigantic website and sign up because they love the game, not because they want a new game to test or a new game to play. And there's a big avenue of people that just want to try the game out and they'll never touch it again. And that's great. That's wonderful. I hope they have a great time when they're playing it, and I hope they have a great enough time that they want to stick around, because Motiga will scratch your back and love you like a community member, like a family, as much as you're willing to put into them. And I know Pyro can attest to this. He's been with them since really early on, and it's just when I said earlier that when I left PAX South there were tears in my eyes, I wasn't being facetious. There's literally an emotional disconnect when you lose these people that you just feel so immediately comfortable around. And let's say hi to Pyro.
Pyro.
Hello.
Pyro.
Hello, the voice of Gigantic.
Pyro.
Is it really loud?
No, it's just your voice of Gigantic.
No, you are the voice of Gigantic.
Oh, I understand. I understand what
Yeah.
you mean. Okay, cool. Yeah. Me and Thor did the thing and the stuff. I don't know what the whole discussion is about aside from like our experience. Is that what's going on?
We're just talking about. We started talking about our experience, but now it's talking about what the original question was: has there been a game company that has done what Motiga has done to nurture and grow a community so early in its life?
Oh yeah. Well, echoing Locksmith earlier, Waystone was a prime example of this, and they I think. I mean, I know that there's been other companies out there that have brought community members in and whatnot before, but Motiga is doing it in the biggest and best way I think possible. And like all of you guys have said, it really shows, and the emotional connection was huge. Like there was many tears, and there was many well, I should say happy tears, and many hugs, and a lot of us are all friends on Facebook and whatnot, and it's really something special, and I'm really, really proud and happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a wonderful community, and there's always going to be struggles and things along the way, but as a family, it's not a community, it's a family. We'll get through whatever comes our way and really kind of play. And I want to shoot over to Ben real quick. I see a new bearded man in the room with a smile.
Yeah, this is our Tri-Math player from the tournament. Literally legit. Yeah, he was in the TeamSpeak. Yeah, I was the guy with the cool job at work.
Oh, wow, you got home quick.
Yeah, it was quick.
Do you guys work on, or are you guys living on campus? I'm guessing.
Yeah. We all go to University of Maryland, so and we all went to PAX together. That's how.
All right.
Except for the 2 people from our team that are from Seattle. So that's not a completely true statement, but yeah.
You guys should join Matt and I in April for cigars.
Yeah. No. Actually, Matt is. Matt, are you still in a fraternity with our other roommates? We actually knew Matt before, even like running into Gigantic at PAX and like playing in the tournament and having a great time. So it's like a really small world thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I actually pestered John, their HK, to check out Gigantic. So yeah, they did.
That's why.
Thanks to Matt.
Yeah, he got us into it.
Nice.
A huge shout out to him.
Hey, we have Roland from Pleasure Castle in the room. Not in TeamSpeak, but in the chat room. So, there's a question. What frat are you guys in?
I'm in Theta Chi. If any of you know fraternities.
No.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'm in drink as much beer as I can.
True.
Yo, true.
So let's talk about Gigantic as a tournament, as an esport. Do we think that having played in a tournament for the first time at PAX, not having a whole hell of a lot of time to be thrown into the game and practice and really get high level, do you think that Gigantic does well as an esport? Baz. We'll get this out of the way. Stand by.
I really do think so, because a lot of the games that we saw from teams who have only played the game for 2 days, maybe 3 to 6 matches, they were really close. The team that I coached, you guys, such an asshole. The team that I coached did really well. Like, they were taking notes, and they had like print offs of like all the characters. Like, they had a notebook of like 15 pages of just like notes and like team comps of all the other teams, and were like really into it. So I think that seeing community members do that when they first found the game, like I asked them, have you guys been on the show floor at all? They're like, no, once we found this game, this was like the coolest thing ever. So they just kind of like sat there, and we just talked throughout the entire weekend about like what they need to do and all this. It was a really cool experience. So like in terms of can the game be an esport? I mean, if PAX South and PAX East hasn't already proven that, then anyone who says otherwise, I think, is just kind of kidding themselves or just salty for some reason. I don't think that it's in a good place to push for the sports scene, at least right now, just because there's no spectator mode. But once that happens, and once the community just kind of rallies around it even more, because I got to watch some of the stream at the actual event, just kind of watching the chat and just like exploding when things were happening, and Azraki and the short source did just a phenomenal job casting. And I mean, it was one of those experiences to really watch a scene kind of put the seed in the ground at PAX East, and then we get to kind of watch the tree bloom over the next few years to just kind of see what happens. So the game is just so esport friendly. It's kind of hard to say anything bad about it, really, in terms of like an esports scene. Oh, shut up, Tim. My goodness, I can't talk for 30 seconds.
That was 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I could probably talk longer, but I'll be quiet now. So you're welcome.
I'm just kidding. It was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So I want to hear from Dreback and then Rumpus.
Yeah, so I definitely think the game has good legs to stand on as a esport game. We picked up the game, and I had played Trip for like the first 5 games, but then when we had gotten our 5th player, he was like, "Oh, I'm a Trip player too." So I was like, "All right, maybe I'll go Taito. We'll like do double assassin." And we were talking with Devin for a long time, and he's like, "Yeah, that's totally viable. Like you can do that, but this is how you need to do it." And then Soup came over as a coach and was like, maybe you don't want to do that because it's like a bit more complex," and was like, "You might want to, go Roland or Charnock or something." So it was just cool to talk with them, and like even after playing the game for a while and having so much fun, it was easy to see how the like different strategies, different ideas can completely like work, and that there's not just like one set of win conditions.
Yeah, there's Gigantic is an exquisitely complex game, and I think it's just going to grow from here. Rumpus.
I think before just the game being a good game and having good balance and the developers keeping up on that, the community and the developer that Motika as a company cultivates for the community. You look at the biggest esports right now, and Riot is literally pushing that game, down people's throats. Valve has got a huge system going on, and then you look at the games like StarCraft. I was very, very into StarCraft, and Blizzard kind of didn't make the moves that cultivated growth. And I think if Motiga is going to act the way they did it at PAX East, and assuming at South, why not? Absolutely. If you get people involved and spend the money and make it interesting, then hell yeah, I'll be right there next to you, watching those games on Twitch.
Yeah, ESPN, man. ESPN Sports or ESPN Esports. Let's see. Chuckle. No, Drayback, you've already spoken. Rumpus, you've spoken. Pyro.
So, as an esport, I think this game has absolutely massive potential for it. We've already got, still a shout out to Warpath Gaming League guys. They're really cool, and they've got a lot of really great ideas. I was talking with Fox about it a bit, and they, there's a lot of things that are going to be coming down the pipe as far as the esports and community tournaments go, and Motiga said very explicitly that they absolutely want to support that as much as possible. And what they want to do with it specifically is to let the community take the reins on that and then provide the community with the tools they need. Some things that were talked about publicly were things like Motiga being able to, or providing a website or interface for people to create their own brackets and present APIs for getting data about player profiles and all those things that you would expect out of a company that wants to support esports in their game. And I think this game lends itself very well to it. Especially for people who are watching the stream over the weekend. You saw the gameplay in the tournament and whatnot. The team fights are intense and rewarding and fun, and everything about this game is going to be I absolutely think it lends itself very well to esports, and with the right support and the community doing a good job about making it a thing, I think this game's going to explode in a big way in that scene, and I'm excited for it.
Pyro, I actually have a question for you since you were doing the stream the whole weekend. What was the reaction of like the chat itself? Because we all know that Twitch chat can be pretty bad at a lot of the times. Was it for the most part pretty positive and just kind of very I guess uplifting? Because I didn't hear any really negative things about our Twitch chat the entire event.
Yeah, not at all. Especially when we had our community shoutcasters as Rocky and the Source, they were very, very good at what they were doing, and I feel kind of bad because we had to, during the tournament, we actually had to have them run the scene switching. We didn't have a dedicated observer person, so the presentation wasn't quite where I wanted it to be for the tournament. But the chat really had a blast, and everybody who was watching it was really excited. I was very happy with the setup that HSL did for us, with being able to put up the 4-up screens and switch between all 10s, all that kind of thing. That was a really, really big deal for us, and HSL did a really great job. That's the High School League for anybody who's not aware of who they are. Go check them out, and it was super cool.
I think we only had to ban one person from chat the entire weekend.
Oh yeah, there was a few.
I only had to ban one
I threw
person.
down my ban hammer a few times.
Well,
it was mostly just trolls going to be. Yeah, they did. And, that was mostly just trolls going to be trolls, like people posting lewd things in chat, and I was just like, get out of here.
Yeah,
but
somebody created
everybody
a new
was
Twitch
super
chat
cool.
or a Twitch just to trolls.
I'd have given just about anything to see the Twitch chat blow up just when the very first gameplay was posted. That was the first time we shown live gameplay.
Yeah, they were extremely excited when Thor and I got things hooked up, and we were actually live commentating over gameplay a lot. and it was very cool. And these were just the casual games of most of the what am I trying to say? The teams practicing for the tournament was what we were commentating on. And during our setup, this is before the tourney, we could only capture from 2 PCs because we don't have as fancy of a setup as HSL. But people were just loving it. Like all the feedback that I saw throughout the Reddit and Twitter and all that stuff after PAX South is everybody's like, we want to see gameplay. So Thor and I said, well, we're gonna do a heck of a lot of gameplay then.
Yeah. Well, it was huge, but I want to point out a picture that just got posted.
Which one is this?
Of Thor and Pyro with their flaming axes.
Oh God, so good.
It's
I
so
love
good.
that picture.
So
I have
Tony
it as a
photoshopped that one.
background.
It's such a great picture.
So we're gonna just go ahead and make some changes to the stream for just a brief moment here.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh,
yeah,
Oh, change
actually,
it forever.
Zappo just posted in chat. I went and I made highlights of every day during the stream. And they're basically just the entire stream highlights, but they're posted there and people can watch them. I will be, just FYI for everybody, I will be going through and making highlights of the various matches and panels and QA, and we did a couple dev interviews that were really great. So I'm going to make highlights of all those things and post them on the Reddit as well. I just haven't had time yet today.
Right on. And that, speaking of the Reddit, we'll get back to the question. I believe there is an AMA tomorrow on the Reddit, so make sure you guys check that out. So we'll talk about more of those kind of things, and so I want to piggyback a little more on the topic of Gigantic as an esport, and it's going to be a little sensitive because I know it's early. Can Gigantic be competitive with current existing esports like League, like Dota, like StarCraft?
God, yes, absolutely.
Short Bus is having a microphone seizure. So let's hear from you, Timber.
Oh, there we go. I forgot how many times I clicked it, so I didn't know if I was muted or not
You were
anymore.
just waiting.
Yes. My resounding answer is yes, heroes. However, I do think it's going to take some time. I think esports as a whole is a pretty young sport, and I think it's taken a long time to get there. So Gigantic has the potential and beyond to do it, and I think they will. But I don't know if it's going to be overnight. I don't know if that would be a realistic way to see it to push quite as high as League and Dota. I mean, they're just the top of the top, but I do think you're absolutely going to see it rise and start to rise, and after its release, have a couple years of really proving itself in the competitive world.
What about you, Zappo? And guys, just I'm not going to call on everyone who's highlighted. So if I don't, just use your Yahweh and wipe your face.
So yeah, I actually see Gigantic having a really solid chance at competing with other esports scenes. I don't think Motiga is going to come out and actually force it when the game releases. I don't think we're going to see a Gigantic World Championship like really soon with the game. I see, as Malky was talking in chat actually about the community kind of building the early scene, and I feel like once the foundation's built, and if the fan base is there, then I actually see Motiga kind of picking it up from there and moving it on from there, basically. So I think it has a really solid chance on getting up there in the viewership.
Turtle?
Yeah.
Yeah, we mentioned League and Dota, and I mean, like, those are two like very similar games. Like, obviously there's differences. So I'm a Dota player, so there are obviously differences in the game, but I don't think it needs to compete with either of those. I don't think it can, because it's just the nature of the way it is. It's obviously in some respects it's more complicated, in some respects it's more simplified. So it's more like comparable is Smite, I think, based on like how you control and how everything looks, and kind of how how you run around the map. And you look at that, and that just had a $1 million tournament after 3 years of people being, hey, Smite's the easy person game. Go play Smite if you can't handle League or Dota. So I could definitely see something coming out of this, like in the fact that it does look so different on the surface, like the art style and the animations and everything is for an alpha. It's very popular. It's very smooth and it looks really really good. So that is definitely going to help draw people in, and then you see all these systems working underneath and all these different things going. That's going to definitely keep people playing. So I definitely think that the art style is going to like bring in the first couple people saying, "Hey, this looks really cool. Let's try this out."
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I don't necessarily think it will ever compete with a title because it's a different game, right? What Motiga is doing is they're bringing a different type of esport, I think, to the industry. It's competitive, yes, but it's not your typical 3-lane. Go for your turrets, and I don't play MOBAs, so I have no idea what I'm talking about. All I know is the word jungle, so go jungle. Yeah. So, Pyro, you were chiming in, I believe.
Yeah, there was a couple of things I wanted. There was a question in chat that I wanted to address right quick. HSL was not paid by Motiga to come out there. HSL showed up and they said, hey, we really love what you guys are doing. Let's talk. We want to provide this tournament setup for you, and we had them come in, and it was essentially, I mean, almost kind of sponsored in a way, but there was really no money that exchanged hands. It was just, hey, we're going to come out and we want to set this up. Just plug us on social media. So kind of just more of a quid pro quo type situation. So for everybody out there who's thinking that HSL was paid or had some sort of there was money that passed hands, that's not what it was. It was all about community coming in and saying, hey, let's do an esport. And, Motiga is not forcing esports at all. Like, they're going to support it and they're going to give us the tools to do it, but it's going to be up to us to make it happen. And I think that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't depend on yourself. Let your resources be dedicated to making the game that people want to play competitively.
Well, they're so community oriented. That's really the only way I could see it. I would absolutely agree with Pyro that they're going to see how their people work it, and they'll work it with their people.
Yep. So we're pushing that 10 o'clock, and we'll probably go a little late. But if anyone really wants to talk on this topic, Caesar, your mic, just make it go off and on and off and on, just so I can see.
I have a cat on my lap. I can't do that right now, but I want to be doing that right now.
That's funny. So we're going to go to... I'm sorry, I just saw somebody. Don't stop until I call you. All right, Wolfman, let's hear from you real quick.
All right. So it's I kind of wanted to talk on multiple subjects, but it's kind of exactly what everyone's been saying. Like, it's said multiple times in here and in chat. Like, if the community wants it, it's likely to happen, especially if Motiga has been the way that it always has been, following what the community wants and like staying really close with them. There's so much potential for this game, just the way that it works, and like, who knows how we're gonna implement a whatever it's called, I forgot, spectator mode, in whatever way possible. Like, it's just it's probably bound to happen, but like Shortbus said a little while ago, it's probably going to take some time, and that's perfectly fine. You can't rush anything, because likely when you rush something, it's probably going to end up not as great as we want it to be. But still, like, the community is backing it up completely 100%. And that's obvious, not even just in here or in chat, but it was at PAX South, it was at PAX East. Like, there was so much hype going around, and I wasn't even upstairs at PAX East. I was on the floor all 3 days for like 8 consecutive hours every single day. But I just know that people were up there just going crazy about these games and watching the stream, and just so much excitement. I can't possibly imagine that there won't be enough for an esports hype.
What happened to Baz?
He was being toxic.
I don't know what happened to Baz, Tim.
No, I'm not sure, actually. I'm trying to fix it.
Kind of going along though with the how things are kind of set up right now is, I mean, the resources that Motiga are already giving to people to facilitate these sort of tournament plays and these sort of the competitive scene as it is right now. I mean, it's not much, but it's readily apparent. And even though in other games like League or Dota or Smite, where it's easy to kind of watch and understand what's going on, And Gigantic is much different in that fact, where it's a much faster game. It's much more visually dynamic. It's harder to get and understand. Even though there's that big difference and that big issue there, what we saw from the streams at PAX East and what we saw from what the HSL guys did, even without a dedicated spectator mode, we were still able to get an incredibly good view of what was going on and how the game was developing and how things were changing throughout the game. So right now, as it stands, we're even in a pretty good place to just show off the game at the even just at the PAX and the different conventions we're going. It's, in my opinion, going to get even better as a dedicated spectator mode can go in, or more resources are put out from Motiga. This game is going to quite honestly explode once there's more stuff available to us.
I want to point something out, and then I'll go to you, Zion. But the big thing here is that if you listen to the community coaches and the people who were at PAX, there's one thing that I always say in every single one of these shows, and I know Pyro will echo this to the end of the earth. It's as much Motiga's game as it is our game. We call it our game. We say we say us. We say we will do this when we do this, when this happens. Hey, this was a decision that was made. It's not, hey, when Motiga gets this done, or when they do this, it's a family, it's a community, it's our game.
Oh, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. It truly is. Absolutely. One of the things to, you know what? Actually, I just lost my train of thought on that. Never mind.
All right. Well, if you get it back, let me know.
Nailed it.
I see.
Nailed it
I see
indeed.
Perry is having a microphone seizure, and then Locksmith I saw is also having one. So I'm sorry, but I did say Zion would go next, so we'll talk to Zion.
Yeah, so I just off of what Schmoogle said about the hype and the esports hype. Like, one thing that really stood out to me during the tournament and just in general at PAX is that like the ease with which players are able to that don't know anything about the game are able to like pick up what's happening and kind of what's going on. Like, I know whenever people, like for League of Legends, whenever we're watching the LCS and some friends come over who don't know what League is, they're just like, what are all these pretty lights and stuff? What's happening? They have no clue what's going on. But then like people who, those are, I guess, people who haven't played a MOBA, but people who hadn't seen like Gigantic before, and hadn't played it, were able to just like walk into the tournament room and like after watching a couple of games, they were able to just like pick it up, and people were going nuts when a really close game ended, like the excitement was there, and that's something huge.
Yeah, there's definitely that
I remember
ninth inning. All right, there's that ninth inning, 2 outs, bases loaded kind of feel in some of these Gigantic games that we've seen, and it's just it's edge of the seat kind of stuff. So Pyro, let's hear what you remembered, and then I want to get one more person and then move on to the next topic.
One of the things that we've been talking about a lot is, there needs to be spectator mode. Well, Motiga is working on it. They have said that. They said that quite a bit over the weekend, that it's coming, it's on the way. But one of the things that is kind of a indicator of that is, for anybody who had seen gameplay from previous videos, like from media or if you were at PAX South, you can actually notice a difference between that previous build and the one that was played at PAX East. If you're actually looking at the cameras are actually improved in this build, and that's a direct correlation to the spectator mode being iterated on, and they're pretty close from what I hear. So by the next time we see a tourney, we'll have spectator, I'm sure.
And what I think the next big con is Gamescom, actually, in Germany, and then the next big Patrick's shaking his head.
No, the next one is E3, isn't it?
Yeah,
July?
I don't think Motiga is going to show it.
Con, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, the next one that Motiga has said that they are showing at for sure is Gamescom in Germany, which is huge because
that's right,
there is a big European company big
yes.
European community. There's a lot of people in Europe that are really hyped about it, and there is an alpha over there. So there is a community, or I should say, a good portion of the community, or maybe even half or more, exists in Europe as well.
Yeah, I
So
thought they said the most signups actually came from Europe, with a big proportion coming out of Russia.
Yeah, I think you have to be
during
part of the
initial signups.
ESA. I think you have to be part of the ESA to go to E3. That's way more of a press event than a consumer
And even
event.
then, I don't know if Motiga will have a presence there, but Microsoft might have an announcement or two.
Yeah, on
And
the
the-
list
yeah.
for E3, Motiga's not on there, but Microsoft of course is, so they'll probably be part of the big presentation.
And Matt, ladies and gentlemen. Matt doesn't talk during these events, so let's hear a big round of applause for Matt. Thank you,
Yay,
Matt.
Matt!
I love it.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, ladies and gentlemen. So, Locksmith, let's hear from you, and then I want to ask the next topic, which actually incorporates Microsoft.
Right. Actually, I had to write down what I want to say because I forgot it like 3 times waiting. So the two things, real quick. On esports, the moment-to-moment gameplay for Gigantic seems a lot more exciting than a lot of popular esports right now. And because of the quick pace of the game, the matches are shorter. So just the fact that people won't be sitting down watching like people farming or something for 10 minutes at a time, I think gives it a better chance as an esport from the spectator's point of view.
I think that's big. Once we can actually watch the games, I think it'll be big. So, I want to move right along and keep this conversation going right after we hear from Perry, because I don't want to hear him cry.
Thanks. No, just like I think one of the things I want to bring up is like I feel like this weekend, and some of this was things I got to see from like having seen literally every game instead of not just the ones that were streamed. But I think we've seen both like the basis for what can make Gigantic an awesome esport. Like we saw some super close games, especially in the early rounds. Like not all to throw shade on Lana or What's Alpha or Pleasure Castle, who had amazing games towards the end of the day. But I mean, I think we also saw some of the dangers of Gigantic becoming a scary bad esport, in the sense that we did see some games where it was just people stalling out and turtling, and some of the things that made League of Legends become a boring game to watch now and then. And I think we both saw like the best thing and like the most hype. You can't see either Guardian's health bar left anymore, and some of the like, and now we're all just gonna sit around for 3 minutes while we wait for our power bar to grow. So it's growing. I think the devs being there to watch made me so excited for like they understand the best things about this game and the worst things about this game, and they saw everything I saw about what was awesome and exciting and what got people on their feet and yelling about how cool this match was and how cool a particular game was, and also things where people are bored and going to get a glass of water. And I think we're going to see adjustments and patches and gameplay changes that are going to support keeping the game exciting and fun to watch.
Yeah, I think that's always going to be big. And that's the great thing about the fact that Motiga hyper listens to the community, is when we say, hey, this doesn't work, shit's going to change. So what I'm going to ask everybody in TeamSpeak to do right now, because I know that this is everyone's going to light up, hit that mute button on your microphone real quick, just so I'm going to call on the first person I see. Zappo, don't hit it when it's already muted, you jerk. So the question is, last week at GDC, Motiga announced a partnership with Microsoft, and the fact that the game is going to come to a console, being Xbox One. How do we feel about that? Wow. Just unmute your mic. Don't seize. The seizing is only when it gets closer to the end.
Sorry, I get excited.
I get excited and like to click stuff. 50. We haven't heard from you yet.
Kappa.
Is that it? That was the whole thing? Really, really good.
That's 50.
Outstanding.
That is 50.
Outstanding. You can come over to my house and... No, I'm not going to finish that. Let's hear from you, Chuckles.
The thing going to Xbox is, I think actually it's good for the game. So people play it on Xbox, and it's going to be free to play there, as far as my understanding. They pop it in, they download it. I guess they would download it and play it, and then if they enjoy it, they can say, "Hey, I've heard the better experiences on PC. It's more competitive on PC because it's going to be because keyboard and mouse will beat controller 7 out of 8 times unless you're amazing with controller." And then the competitive community can grow from there. Just the gateway to entry is just so much lower because it's on Xbox. As for the other announcement, the gateway to entry is now that much higher.
With the Windows 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and try and incorporate that into your statement. So we're gonna jump straight down to the bottom and hear from you, Zappo, and then let's try and keep this under 30 seconds so we can hear from everyone on this.
Yeah, so I gotta agree with the controller and mouse thing. So I'm not gonna beat around the bush with Xbox. I think Xbox is awesome. Cross-platform play, turning it on and off. That's all cool things. As far as Windows 10s goes, I mean, I'm pretty amped about it. All the PCs there were running Windows 10, so I got to play around with it a little bit, and I don't have any worries about that in general. And let's talk about the last exclusive game that was on a Windows was Windows 95 with Diablo, and that turned out really good. So hopefully that happens again.
All right, Pyro.
Well, I was, kind of echoing Zappo there. The exclusivity of other things has been a really good thing. That's one of the things that consoles actually thrive on. And I think that it's going to be really good for Gigantic too. As a free-to-play, it will be very accessible to, to console players. And the way the game plays right now, honestly, the only thing that I think where you'll see a real huge gap between console and keyboard and mouse is going to be with shooter characters like Imani and Voden, and maybe more precision people. But really, really the big thing about this is that, a lot of people have been really reductive and they're like, oh, you're alienating half your community, or, oh, you're splitting the community. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but when you add a whole second platform, that actually means that you've increased the size of the community. And there's a lot of people that have console, but they don't have PC. PC and they don't have console. I'm lucky enough to have both. But yeah, we're increasing the community, guys. Like all those Reddit posts about alienating the community or making dumb moves. Like I'm getting real close to the mic here. I'm just gonna tell you nice and soft. You're wrong.
Man, that was
Bam, you've heard it first here, folks.
Hold on, drop the mic. Those were sunglasses, but it's almost the same.
That's it.
Let's hear from you, Clint. What do you think, buddy?
Oh no, Pyro hit it like nail on the head. I think
Outstanding.
it's great to increase the size of the community. Getting access to Microsoft might also mean like some of their moderation as well, so Motiga can actually handle the size that the community will grow to. And it's a load off of Motiga's shoulders financial wise, because the one thing this game was missing, the only thing this game was missing really, besides just finishing development, was marketing. And now that is not an issue whatsoever. Just wait till after E3, you'll probably see absolutely nothing but Gigantic on like Microsoft's games lineup.
Yep,
It's
and I
gonna
think
be
that's
awesome.
That's huge. What better way to advertise your game than let someone else do it, right?
Yep.
It's huge focus on you guys. So Drabaki.
Yeah, the one thing about going to Xbox that I think really just goes over a lot of people's heads who see this as, a possible esport game and a hardcore game is that there's a huge crowd of casual gamers. And they're the kids who may not be able to afford high-end gaming PCs, or, they just are too young to really understand it. Well, when the game's on Xbox, your parent or your aunt or, anybody can just go to the store, buy the game, give it to you. Now all you do is pop in the disc and you can play. It's a lot different from, the entry that having a good gaming PC, being able to run it, and, all that is necessary. So I really think it opens it up to a huge audience that most people just, because they're not, hardcore gamers or into this esport, they don't really notice them.
Yeah, I think that's big too. I used to work at Best Buy, and it would always be, "Hey, I don't know what to get little Patty for Christmas. So here's a $20 Xbox card, and let him buy whatever he wants, skins, whatever." Locksmith.
Right. Just to expand a bit on what Power said. So obviously, Motiga would want to have a pretty large community, and the way they chose to expand the community, I think, is pretty smart of them, because the options that people would think about first would be to, make it cross-platform with Linux and Mac OS. But the market or the amount of installs of Linux and Mac OS compared to the amount of people that have Xboxes are probably not that much. Quite a lot of people have Xboxes, and that is meant for gaming.
Yeah, they are gaming boxes, right? It's not
right.
It's not a built-in web browser. It's a gaming box.
Exactly.
An entertainment system.
So it's not like you may have you obviously will have a lot of people with Linux machines and Macs, but then how many of them are actually using it to play games?
Yeah, exactly. I use my Xbox to Xbox watch TV.
Xbox off.
Doesn't actually work that way. It's Xbox turn
I
off.
know. I was
Yes.
really disappointed.
Yeah.
Really disappointed. I tried to troll my friends and it didn't work.
Yeah. I tried to when my wife was talking Xbox shut up. It just didn't work the same way. Desiree mute. Desiree mute. It didn't work. So let's hear from you, superhero short bus.
Oh, okay. So I actually brought up my Reddit post for this, so I could remember, because that's my stance to this day. It's been 3 days, still my stance. So yeah, I think we're very scared of words like financials and big companies and business. It's so scary. I don't even like saying them. Like, it makes me really anxious. But I think it's great. I think Motiga being backed by things like that gives them just so much more ability and versatility and function. Like, they just have it. Like, that backing will do wonders for them. And we need them. God, I mean, we the community are half of that equation, and it's really easy to forget that we need them to thrive on a business level, and this is a great, brilliant business move. We need them to thrive as a scary word like a company. We need Motiga, we need our company to have that powerful backing, as much as they need us to back them as players and as community members. And we are lucky that we have a human company. Like, Motiga is wonderful, and I want to put to rest any fears our community has that they will not do right by us, with a scary big company behind them, and not even behind them, like, they're partners. And I think that it's not a merger, it's not a takeover, it is a partnership. And that's also something that we have to keep in mind going forward as well. And that's, have faith. We're human.
I want to segue on that real quick and just really hammer home. A lot of people are misunderstanding the whole partnership thing, and people are assuming that it is a publisher, game studio type relationship, and it is absolutely not. Microsoft has zero authority over creative process, iterative process. None of that is up to Microsoft. In fact, Chris Chung gave us a nice little talk between him and the the devs and the community team, and one of the things he mentioned was that during the talks about this, and this is stuff that is not really high level private or anything, he told them, this is our game, and you will have no creative authority over it at all. Period. The end. And if you want that, the answer is no. And mic drop and walked away. And Microsoft said, "Okay, well, give us a little time on that." And they came back with, a strategic partnership about bringing Windows 10 about bringing it to Windows 10, about bringing it to Xbox, and Motiga said, "All right, we can do this," and I think it's gonna be great.
I think a better way to look at it is Microsoft didn't get Motiga. Motiga got Microsoft.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly.
Yep.
And with
Very
with
important.
that, there's so much power behind it. And I've gotten a couple of messages saying, hey, you guys are riding Motiga's coattails, and then you guys are just, every developer has these huge amount of fanboys right in the beginning, and after the game releases, they all taper off. Well, I can tell you, I have friends, and everyone in this channel that went to PAX has talked to anybody in IRC on Twitter, on Facebook, whatever it may be. These people are our friends. They are our gaming buddies. I've played games with Greg multiple times. Played Diablo 3 with him for a while. Like these are our friends. They're also people who happen to make games.
So I kind of want to elaborate on that real quick. I mean, in my videos that I do, I use the term a lot. We're a gigantic family. And I've received a couple private messages like, that's a stupid term. You're just fanboying it up, but it's truly very, very true. I mean, I've had talks with just random people when I'm having a bad day. Community members have literally just walked up to me and given me a hug for no reason. Be like, hey, I like what you do. This community is so positive. And it's really important for us to kind of foster a family mentality first, rather than a esports scene or a gaming competitive scene, or super fan site scene, or whatever you guys think is really important. Community is always number one. And if you look at any game that's successful in the history of anything, community always comes first, and then the game always comes second. And I think it's really important that we kind of take a step back and look at that. I mean, everyone that has been talking so far is absolutely correct. I mean, right down from the community members all the way up to the CEO himself is all about community, all about positivity, and all about just being a family. And it was really neat to just kind of see the CEO himself walk up on that stage to say, hey, I'm here to answer questions. Guys, no other CEO does that. No other CEO literally cares that much about their game or their community, because, they're just there to make money. But the stuff that he answered and the stuff that he told us pretty much washed away any of my fears for the Windows 10 thing or the Xbox and everything else. It's just...
Let me, and I've never told anyone this ever, and I don't know if I should or not, but yeah, he's bated breath at the edge of your seats kind of thing. So, and if Motiga gets mad at me for telling this, I'll bear that burden. When I launched Motiga Unleashed back in January of last year, I didn't have a whole lot of web experience. I just started putting together a website. And a friend of mine that you guys may know, Bill, aka Real Lethality, was kind enough to put our site on his web host. And we had some forums, a set of forums called the Vanilla Forums. And like I said, I didn't know anything about WordPress. I really didn't know anything about hosting a website at all. And
Still
so
don't. It's okay.
Yeah, you're gonna get kicked out of here in a minute. But this is we're being real here for a second though. We got hit with a $400 hosting bill because of spam bots and because of we got 45,000 signups. So I messaged Troy and I was like, hey dude, I just want to let you know I'm going to put up a donation button to see if the community can help out because I don't have $400 sitting around. He's like, why? What happened? And I explained the situation. The next day, Troy messages me and he's like, hey, I posted it around the studio and just let him know what was going on. And next thing I know is Bill is saying, hey, I got some checks from some of the guys at Motiga and they helped with the bill that you got hit with. And that made me cry. I literally bawled, and it's bringing tears back to my eyes because something like that, like from a game studio that's like, hey, you're helping us. We want to do whatever we can to make you a better group of people, and to go out of their way to do something like that, it's huge. It's unheard of, and it still baffles me that they did that to this day. And if that doesn't tell you the kind of company that we are fanboying the hell out of, then I don't have any other way of convincing you.
100% agree right there. Yeah.
And
That is beautiful.
And that doubles back when you consider the recent donation we had to get the Euros to PAX South.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool as hell.
hey, community, 2 of our best people at PAX South can't make it because turns out it's real damn expensive to fly people over the ocean.
I didn't realize how southern you were, Malkior.
Oh yeah, he's super southern.
He's super southern. Yeah.
Wow.
Especially when I just get onto a big drawl. Anyway, yeah.
Goddamn southern.
Shut up.
Let's move
up.
past the sensitive topics and we'll talk about something a little bit different here right now. Go ahead, tell us how you milk a cow.
What?
What? Exactly.
I literally don't even.
He turned into an auctioneer all of a sudden.
All right.
Wow, it's the most southern thing I've ever heard. So continue your story. They should hear this, though.
But yeah, like quick diversion. Speaking of like super feelsy moments, like I don't think I have ever had so many just like awesome, totally heartfelt hugs from people in a company ever before. And I mean, maybe that's because I don't usually hang out with entire companies worth of people, but like I've never been so often like invited to go out, get drinks with people and have people, be, just like really, really ecstatic about having, me and my friends around and helping out. And it was that itself was just, it's awesome having an emotional connection and like a personal connection to a bunch of people that make something that you enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I want to bring this back in, back to the Microsoft topic, and it's 10:30. I know a lot of people are sitting here like, oh my God, are these guys going to shut up? And no, we're probably not. But I know some of the guys have
Especially
to
if
go.
I'm here, I can talk forever.
Yeah, let's not
We
have that
know.
happen.
Yes, we
I can
know.
actually mute you
We
permanently.
know.
Shut up.
Prison shank.
Now entering
So-
the sentiment of speaking.
Schmugglydorf, let's hear from you about your thoughts on the Motiga acquiring Microsoft.
I think the only, like, because we've all been talking about what how this benefits Motiga and how this is wonderful for Motiga, and we always have to kind of think, plays devil's advocate and think is there any way this can potentially hurt the game? And there's really only one place and it's still up in the air because we haven't even gotten, Motiga hasn't even gotten to this part of their development, but how is monetization going to be working across both platforms? And the biggest question is, will we have to purchase Microsoft points to get things in the game? And that is going to be a big concern for a lot of people. And that's going to be one of those things, or, how is account hosting going to be done? Is it going to be done on Xbox Live? And do we have to pay a subscription for that? And these are all things that obviously are going to be dealt with down the line. And those are going to be the only things that really have this huge kind of question as to, will this ever be a bad thing for us? But as we've said before, Motiga knows where their heart lies. It's with the community. It's the community is what makes them who they are, and how they interact with us is what defines who Motiga is. And I doubt they're ever going to get to a point where they decide to throw something out of left field, like everyone has to be on Xbox Live to be able to play the game, period. Or Windows, they're not going to reboot games for Windows Live just to play Gigantic. There are these things that I know people are going to be worrying about, but it's still very much up in the air, and I don't think we're ever going to get to that point where that happens. The one thing everyone dreads happens and everyone leaves.
Yep. It's, as long as we maintain an air of positivity about what's happening and assume that Motiga knows better than we do. Everyone assumes that they always know the best when it comes to things like this. And I think Pyro had mentioned how people are all over Reddit saying, oh, this is a terrible idea and why would you do something like this? I say, what do you, this is not best for you, but you also don't run a game studio.
Duckles actually just asked this in the chat as well. And one of the things that Chris Chung actually talked to us about was one of the big deal breakers was how Xbox v PC would work with account system is everything you do on one platform is shared to the other platform. So every bit of progression you do, all the unlocks, skins, whatever they do with the game, all of that is transferred across both platforms. It's one account all the way through. And that's huge. I mean, you don't have to make a new account for Xbox One and have to regrind all of everything that you've already unlocked, or you only played on Xbox One and you wanted to check out the PC scene, and then you have to regrind everything, and all that sort of stuff. Even if, what if there is a grind in it? That was one of the big deal breakers for me, is if they didn't get that, and they have it.
Yeah, and it's kind of fantastic that they were like, "Hey, this is a deal breaker for us. Let's haggle," and that they were willing to do that. Let's hear from Timber. I know you want to chime in on this. We're going to go back up and then go back around unless there's any outstanding topics or questions that come up in chat.
There was one. Did Thor get another headshot? That's been on my mind.
He did not.
No, we did not allow him to throw anything today, or during the weekend. I made sure of it.
Pyro made sure.
I got yelled at.
Love you. Why?
I got yelled at PAX South for throwing swag into the crowd.
Absolutely,
because
that's the thing that we enforcers take very seriously, because we
Yeah.
have had incidences where people get trampled and injured.
Yeah, I didn't. I knew
And
that.
that's why you just throw it during the party.
Well, I knew that, but I didn't think about it as I was doing it, because I was at PAX South. We had at the booth, we had a room behind the stage where some of the T-shirts were, and I threw one or two out there, and then I was like, "Oh, that was fun. Let's go throw them into the crowd." And then one of the enforcers was like, "Hey, no, you can't do that." I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that from Prime." Pyro is an enforcer at PAX, so he's kind of like the muscle.
Literally, he's the muscle.
Boy, is he!
No, Pyro is the
Oh,
beard.
Thor's got bigger muscles than I do, and
Yeah, I was about to say Thor is the muscle.
Well, it doesn't matter. Both your arms are bigger than my neck, so it's okay.
I was like, I like that we got like the two most in shape, like burly guys, and then made them sit down and stream all day.
I think we
you
should
guys
put
flatter us too
Pyro or Thor next to Malchior and let them stream.
Yeah, then
So
I wouldn't get called
mean.
skinny arms.
Oh, they would.
Well,
Literally
there
the
was,
first time in my life I've ever been called skinny arms. Somebody in the chat during PAX South gets on there and says, "So, who's skinny arms?" And I look over at Thor. I'm like, "Wow,
Not Thor.
for the first time in my life, I'm skinny arms."
Well, there was a picture that you and Thor took with Kwin, and like the shot was like of
No,
your
that was
waist.
me and
Pyro,
no,
I'll
no,
tell
that
you
was
why that.
was
I'll
me
tell
and
you-
Corrupt.
I'll
Oh,
tell
it
you
was your
why
Corrupt,
that guy called you skinny arms. Because he already has a beard.
Yeah,
Anyone without a
basically.
beard would not have been able to. Yeah.
PAX South, we had me and another guy. I don't remember who he was. We had a push-up contest. That was pretty fun. Or not a push-up contest, a handstand contest. Yeah, we did handstands.
Yeah, I just
Oh, that was a
I
great
kept
take,
thinking
Max.
of like push-up bras, like you guys had to put on push-up bras
Just
and
as
see
many
who
as we
wore the
could
best,
wear.
like push-up. Yeah.
No, we did
bet
handstands
you'd
after
win.
we were drunk.
Push-up contest. How fabulous can you look in this bra?
Wow.
Wow.
Moving right along. Baz,
that
let's hear
note.
from you, sir.
What?
Oh, okay. Well, you don't want to talk. Moving right along.
No. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I said, what's
I
your
lost-
your thoughts on the micro Tiga?
So
No,
Did you
we
see the-
talked about this. Oh,
Did you
shut
see the
up.
picture that was flying around about that? Somebody actually
Yeah,
made
shut
that
up.
into a logo. I was like,
That was
that's
stupid.
amazing.
I'm so mad.
It was still funny, but no. Okay, so the partnership was. I mean, pretty much everyone's really just kind of said everything that. I mean, the concerns were there. I even made a video. It was like, hey, my only problem with Windows 10 is it, being a thing that you have to do. But then Chris came up and was like, yeah, don't worry about it. This. Oh, okay. I mean, Windows 10 is going to be free, and you don't have to pay for it after you upgrade. It's going to be yours for life. So that to me was like, oh, I don't care anymore, because the Windows 8 was awful. I don't think anyone will disagree with that. And they took Windows 7, Windows 8, pulled out all the really good stuff, put it into an OS, and I don't remember who said that the computers had Windows 10 on them, but they did. And Sharpie, who's one of the developers at Motiga, kind of showed me around the OS a little bit, gave me some shortcut tips and that kind of stuff. And it was really intuitive. It was really easy to use, and it ran smoothly. All the games ran at like 60 plus FPS. Even the ones on the stream and that it was just really good. And then I've never been a console guy, so I don't own an Xbox, and I probably won't, just because I like my keyboard and mouse. But there's nothing wrong with having two different communities for the game, mainly because, one, it's Microsoft and they have more advertising experience than anybody else, and second, it just helps grows our community. And I don't think that it's going to be a bad thing. You know, there's a lot of naysayers. You know, that happens. Oh well. And Tim has his beard hat on. But I mean, in the absolute long run, this will only benefit the game and our community in the long run. So there really isn't anything to worry about.
I'm being requested to show the baby, and I will. Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct, though, and Motiga and Gigantic are gonna develop, and it's gonna happen. And you know, one of my favorite people in the world, Marizel, Kristen Overton, who is the senior producer over at Motiga, is in chat, kind of lurking around, and just the fact that they're willing to take out their time. Bye, Scott. Oh, Scott's leaving. Bye, Scott. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you click that follow button. Hey, there's reasons for everything. Anybody who's got that Mo in front of their name, they're from Motiga. We verify them typically. They always hang out in IRC and so on and so forth. Except this Mo Baron. I don't know who that is, but
some loser.
We ran. So, but listen, is there any topics that we didn't talk about? Anybody that wants to chime in about anything other than Pat?
Oh, we didn't talk about the new characters, but that's okay.
You do bring a good point. So
yeah, they're really cool.
So Timber, why don't you lead
Here's
that
my
conversation?
spirit animal.
Why don't you lead that conversation? I'm gonna run and see if I can grab a baby.
Yeah, do that. I won't be able to pay attention for the rest of the stream. So the new champions. We got to see two new ones, Aisling and Wu, the little girl with her spirit papa, and a goddamn frog.
Ninja frog.
Yeah, goddamn ninja frog. Both really, really cool. So let's have some thoughts on that, gentlemen.
I would say I will respectfully defer this to Wolfman, as he is both the best Aisling and the best Wu player I know.
What?
All right.
I'm not.
Excuse you. I am the
Um,
best Aisling.
Fight.
Thank you.
I would challenge.
debatable.
Yeah, I think I'm the best.
is my husband.
That's debatable. But I mean, I guess since I put on the spotlight, I'll go ahead. Ashley and Wu are both incredibly good characters. I'd say that they're not exactly balanced, but I mean, you know, that's to be expected since they were literally just released. But they're both great characters with really fun kits, and they were definitely a blast to play. Like whenever I got a chance to play, but definitely very fun. Both good characters. I can't wait to see how they progress throughout the game and see how they fit. Other than that, I guess it really just depends on who else wants to add anything more specific. So go ahead and take it away.
I mean, Wu was one of those characters that if you like Street Fighter, if you like button combinations, he's definitely for you. I would have to say he's probably the highest skill cap character that Gigantic has in their roster right now, just because of all the combos that you need to learn and just the kind of stuff that you need to do. Aisling was one of those characters that can be really, really kind of a versatile character. She has her like a range upgrade, and she has like a really cool cleave. So like you can go two different kind of styles, but I don't know. I feel that both characters were just like really, really well done, and they also did a art panel Friday, and just kind of like seeing how those two characters kind of conceptualized and became a thing was really neat. Like especially Aisling, because she had just so many different styles of what they wanted her to actually look like, and the way that they came about picking her last design was just like it blew my mind to see how much they really put like a lot of time into like just the smallest details, especially the mustache. That was very important.
Yeah, it was nice that she wasn't an Annie clone when I first saw her. I was like, oh, it's a little girl character, and you're so used
Have
to
you
seeing
seen
that.
my dad, Kato?
Have you seen my Bear Tibbers? No, because you don't have a Bear Tibbers. You look totally unique, and it's really easy to fall into that little girl trope. And from what I saw from the streams and all that, she very much. Oh my! What the? Oh, I can't! Oh God! I hope.
The baby
I
is
hope.
cute.
Yeah, right.
I hope Tim grows a mustache and dies so his son can have his ghost. And that's all I'll say. That's all I
Oh
have.
my god.
I'm right
Wow,
here.
that was awful. I
I'm
think we
right
could
here.
have totally said something better than that, but you
Oh,
totally
No,
did
that
that.
was
segue.
I don't know if that came out wrong
wow.
or what.
No, I do.
You
Every
just have to understand the
child,
context. If you don't understand the context, that makes no sense.
every child should have a ghost come out of a weapon that is their parent. I don't.
That's our
I don't
show.
know what else to
Stop
say.
talking. I don't know
I
where
mean-
you're going with this.
I'm gonna have to file an
let's
injunction
get
So
now.
how about Woo? Woo's a cool frog.
Let's
Who's
get back
he?
to the characters, shall we?
Oh, I totally love to talk
Was
about
mine?
Wu.
Was mine? Was mine?
Yeah. Oh
Aw.
Oh God, the
God.
noises.
So
I
I
think we
Memories
just
of the
lost
flight
my
Someone
train of
doesn't
thought.
like frogs.
Ah. So I played Wu a ton over the weekend, and I mean, I wouldn't say he's too high skill capped. I think all the characters are pretty easy actually to pick up, and then if you want to get to that next level, then yeah, I think they all have a pretty high skill cap in general. But Wu is just too much fun leaping around, all his mobility, tongue lashing people to you, doing karate kicks to the face, just he was just such a fun character. Like Baz said, I felt like playing him was like playing like Street Fighter and like Smash Bros. Like he just had that like up in your face, just brawler, like what's up, dude, and just run away when like shit hit the fan. Basically, he's just a fun guy to play.
What made Wu so devastating, aside just from his damage, they might have to look into that, is you never know how he's going to engage. He has so many different engage tools. He could just
Yeah.
like leap around over and over until he wants to go in if he gets like a certain upgrade that gives his leap a 1 second cooldown as long as he doesn't kick on it. He could pull you into him. He could just like cue into your face to interrupt you or do the spinning kick to like interrupt you. Is like, okay, you have to try and interpret which way he's coming in. And if you guess wrong, he will be chasing you all the way home until you're dead.
And even when you think you're gonna get away, he's gonna tongue lash you right in the ass and pull you right back to him.
Accurate.
Unless
Yeah,
you
I think
die.
A little too accurate.
We're at this like interesting point right now, and I think you can see this kind of in the past from the PAX South characters. Is when we didn't see a lot of Aisling, we didn't see a lot of Wu like during the tournament because they're both relatively high skill cap characters and they're both kind of hard to pick up. And I mean that was the same thing with Griselma in the back end, and also just generally all the new characters. Mozo is still the same way, but coming back, getting to play them all again in some matches. Both Griselma and Mozo have really come into their own and are a ton of fun to play now, and both have like really decent balance. And it'll be really, really fun to see, in a month or two, like hopefully when we hit, something more open, open beta, open alpha, whatever. It'll be really, really fun to see where Aisling and Wu are and how much fun they're going to be to play.
And
Yeah, the only reason I think we didn't see a lot of Wu and Aisling in the actual tournament matches on Sunday is just they didn't fit people's comps. People were running full engage comps, or they were running like high rotation comps for back caps, and which Wu could have fit into that, but they just did trip because they had been playing it more.
I think it was mostly
Team John Cena played some Aisling, and I think a couple of the early teams were playing Wu, but no one that made it to semis was really playing either of them.
Yeah, I think it was mostly because of we were on Canyon too, and I think that's just kind of more of like you were just saying, the heavy engage comps and stuff like that.
Dual melee, Margaret Nasus.
All right, guys.
Woo!
So, you know, I want to finish this up for the evening. Obviously, we've run almost 2 hours. And Baz, I don't think has anything else to say, so that's fantastic. But listen, I want to take a moment and thank every single one of you that joined us, both in TeamSpeak and on the Twitch chat. This has probably been the best, I think, council that we've had, and I think the most, obviously, a little more complicated because we have 20 some odd people in here, and we're gonna not go back to these, 20 or 30 people chats. We'll keep it down to 5 or 10 people in the future. But I think this was a fantastic turnout. I want to take a couple of minutes just real quick and obviously thank Motiga for the game that they've put together that we, the community, have flocked to. Something Troy said to me many years ago was that a game doesn't make the community makes the game. And I think we are doing just that. So if you're not involved, Matt put together a fantastic article on GG Unleashed on how you can get involved. There's a subreddit, there's ClashPoint, there's Warpath. My little kids talking about where you can get involved.
Oh, I can't. Oh. I'm gonna just-
There's always the IRC. So make sure you hit the follow button here on Twitch. Make sure you follow us on GG Unleashed, GG_Unleashed on Twitter. Make sure you follow, obviously, Go Gigantic, ClashPoint, all those guys over there. Warpath Gaming, Anook, IRC. I mean, there's just so many places. I'm sorry, Eric was also involved in the creation of said article. And I made the fantastic artwork, the extent of my Microsoft Paint abilities. Microsoft is probably hiring, but Motiga is definitely hiring. So if you guys are trying to get into the industry, make sure you head over to their page and take a look. And I'm going to leave the stream running so you guys can continue to chat and talk. And I've got to step away because I think this little guy's running a fever. But you guys are welcome to continue the conversation and continue to roll with it. Otherwise, if you guys stop, we'll move up to the general chat room where everybody's welcome to join TeamSpeak, which Pat's going to post into Twitch for us here right now. And you guys are welcome to join with us. But otherwise, thanks, guys. I'm going to step away.
So I'm pretty sure
Thanks,
Tim
Tim.
just gave me the reins here, guys. So.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna take this full steam ahead.
Oh, wait, Zappy.
I think the stream wants karaoke.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's...
Zappy, where's the music? Oh, bye, Zappy.
Oh, damn.
Just so
Bye,
you guys
Zappy.
know,
Alright.
that definitely didn't happen.
Nailed it. Oh my goodness. Real quick, guys,
Did you
I gotta
close
go.
it?
Oh, he just got taken out of the channel. That was great. But
Praise God, Tim.
real quick, guys, I gotta run. Thank you very much for having me on here and having this community discussion. This is the kind of stuff where we see a lot of big community building, and absolutely love being here and hanging out with all you guys. And I miss all my fellow community coaches, and I see a lot of you guys in here. The memories and the feels are super real, and I miss you guys a lot. So yeah, thanks.
I miss you too, Pyro.
Aw, thank you, and feel better. We miss you. We miss you.
Up,
Thanks.
down,
Now,
funk you up.
Funk. Oh, that song. Oh, that song.
So
Was so
good.
good. Anyway.
Make a
They're
dragon
saying it.
want to
They want us
retire.
to do it. They want us to do it.
Yeah,
That'll be a thing.
why would he just leave this?
Only if you
stream
get on
without
webcam,
drawing
Zappy.
them?
Oh
Good
my
night, guys.
gosh. Do we have to switch sides?
Good
to
night.
do it? Are we gonna do this right now?
I don't know.
Oh.
So what do we do?
Seriously?
Yeah, we can. I didn't really get to watch any of those because I was so busy on the floor. So
I
Yeah,
was
they
flying.
started during takedown, so
Yeah. A lot of us were
I
tearing
knew
down
that
after
thing went
happened.
extra late. Holy shit.
Oh, dude, it went till like 7 o'clock. It was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
shout out to Lana for knocking us out when he did, because we wouldn't have gone to bed until like I don't even know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when the
actually,
last
I
match
mean-
of the finals ended the way it did, and literally we all thought we won. Team Pleasure Castle took off their fucking headsets, and then we lose and cry.
I fucking counted. That was a Vidasi. Oh, fuck, I have to go to the video. Anyway, it was 4 characters doing damage for a solid 10 seconds, and it still didn't end it. It was
yeah,
everyone
it
but
was an HK,
Charnock.
Vidasi, Roland, and
HK and
Taito.
Roland couldn't get a wound within 10 seconds. Oh my god.
But yeah, I mean, that is one of the things that we haven't really covered that might be worth covering in kind of the, I guess, what we will call the Gigantic Community Council after council. So for the guys who are in the
After
team,
council.
like obviously it's fantastic having the Llama guys and the White Alpha guys here. How did the tournament go? Like, what was it like for you guys? Like, I mean, obviously most of us have been hanging out in the community for a while. What was it like for you guys, kind of hopping in at the last minute?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like-
You guys were mentioning how
Last
like some of the
minute,
play
y'all were
styles,
practicing on Saturday.
some of the play styles on the map were very passive and waiting, and we were definitely guilty of that. Soups was like, "Don't go, don't push. You guys have the advantage right now.
Yeah.
Your meter's gonna build up first." So we were just like super cautious about everything, and then we were only pushing when we knew we had the advantage, or we knew we were gonna go favorable in the fight, which definitely led to some of the longer, drawn-out matches. We think it's something to do with Canyon. We've heard the other map is more open, other pathways. So
Yeah, Miss Forge is really very competitive.
Yeah,
it's
Canyon
it's a whole different.
You can play Turtle on Canyon because all you gotta do is like watch the middle of the map, and if they
Yeah.
don't sneak into C or D, they can't get into the Ks behind you. That's
Yeah,
pretty much
coming
it.
from a competitive standpoint, I'm sure Tiny can agree with this. I mean, Miss Forge is definitely a lot more competitive. I like Canyon. I have nothing wrong with Canyon. Canyon was definitely the PAX map because it's a lot more high paced, fast action, and because it's so close together and stuff like that. But as far as Miss Forge goes, it's definitely leaves a lot more options and definitely doesn't allow that snowball effect that can't happen.
Yeah.
You can't.
So
hold
what's
an
nice about
entire-
Canyon?
Go ahead.
Canyon is nice because it is a great learning map, and it's just like off the gate, you run down the middle and you punch each other in the head until no one's left standing. Whereas Miss Forge, there isn't really a middle. There's like a bridge that a lot of people meet on and punch each other in the head, but you can't DBZ fight on Miss Forge. So it lends itself to a lot more strategy.
DBZ fight. That's great.
Yeah,
from
you
my
can't do that.
experience, if I can chime in quick.
Yeah.
Because I played Miss Forge at Prime, then compared to Canyon here. The biggest thing I noticed between the two is with Canyon, C and D get to plink at each other the whole time, where Miss Forge, the 2 middle points are way more isolated, so you have better paths to advance on each one without getting gunned down by all the ranged characters, which with Lana versus Alpha in those games, like, advancing was like you're just walking into a killing field there with the team comps that we had, where I jokingly called it after I think the second game, just retreat to victory.
Yeah, I mean, like Canyon really, I feel should be like a 3 versus 3 map because it's like really.
Oh
really
my
tiny.
god, no, that'd be
No.
Yeah, no, that'd be awful. I
No,
think 5v. No,
no.
let's not make 3v.
Vetoed.
Vetoed. Baz is wrong.
Maybe 4v4.
Wow.
All right.
No,
No,
there
yeah,
was a-
Miss
like you're
Forge.
saying,
Miss
there was
Forge is impossible to hold the entire middle of the map without splitting up. And in the Clash, the Miss Forge Clash, there's a lot more cover, and there's even spots to like plink at the wound, even from far away on your side of the map, if you can get the height.
Yeah, so one thing specific to the games, and I feel sorry for dredging up like sad memories for Alpha guys. So I mean, one of the last pushes in the One Alpha Llama game, Llama guys, like you really played a really good bait there, and you essentially baited One Alpha into a fight that that kept them from getting the final wound. Was that intentional? Like I was I was really curious about like what
Yeah.
the strategy was there.
That's the one where Imani
Yeah.
like, plays the
Soup,
back line.
Soup did it.
Yeah.
So
we
basically,
were gonna-
what we knew is that we weren't gonna get it before them, but if we had tried to go too soon, like, and they got a kill, we were just gonna wait. So we just tried to time it where as soon as we got the first kill, that would push us into it. So even if, let's say, we went like 1 for 2 and we only had 3 people left, we would push first, and hopefully we'd be able to suicide those last 3 people for the wound.
Yeah.
It was a great play. It was exactly what you guys needed to do. I think our biggest problem is we were gripped with indecision there when we saw you send one guy on each flank, and we should have just charged all 5 right to your middle 3 and gone for that instead of trying to guard the Guardian.
Yeah, like a few people have said that Canyon's kind of like you were saying before, DBZ fighting. It feels like Canyon is made to just be like a fighting map and to just brawl it out. But the problem is you just have these capture points that really you don't want to fight. If I have a lead and my capture points are going, it's counterintuitive. Like I said before, you kind of have nothing to game.
Yeah, but
It's almost like if deathmatch was in game mode, I would want it to be on Canyon.
the thing is,
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
What happened frequently in y'all's matches, and this is what happened with me
Y'all's?
as well. Yes, y'all. Get
I
over
had
it.
to me Alcor.
I know.
Bar
man.
reckon.
Anyway, is when all the creatures are dead, and then like no team can gain power unless the Guardian isn't in combat, and they just gain it passively. Then you get up to that. I had to have a dev tell me about this. This is something I didn't know about the game until someone told me at South. It's like, why doesn't it seem to be going any further? It's like, oh, it only goes up to 99%. Passive power gained from the Guardian only goes up to 99%. You have to kill someone, or you have to get 1 power steal to send it over the edge for the rampage.
Yeah, as long as you don't
So
have
one
it-
team
as long as you
has
don't
to
have
make an
summons.
aggressive play.
As long as you don't have summons. If you have any summons, they'll automatically get you.
Yeah,
a
if you have a
push.
creature, it can take over 100. But if all the creatures are dead, someone has to make an aggressive play.
I mean, as far as like playing, usually from a competitive standpoint, someone's keyboard's going nuts. I don't know who it is, but I mean, usually going towards the first wound is where like I notice the most passive play usually, and then like second wound and anything after the first push kind of turns into more of like aggressive play, especially in Clash. I mean, if you're just chilling, hanging out, holding the points, the other team's gonna need to make the move. Clash is like the very end of the game, so there is like the little snowball effect on Canyon, but I mean, I feel like I only see that snowball effect is during the first wound because it seems like both teams will play it passive and just, either let the other team get the first wound or we'll take the first wound. It feels like the first wound's always like a trade-off. It's
Second.
kind of your choice, and then after that, it kind of turns into the big
I say it's
cluster
the,
of
I say
everything.
it's the second wound. First wound, you if both teams are even, and if they play passive, or even if one team like gets completely wiped, usually they own at least half the points and they can generate a decent shield.
Yeah, what I noticed sort of. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I noticed sort of the opposite. I feel like in the games, some of those games in the semis, like the first wound happened the fastest, and then like,
Yeah, I'm
and
actually gonna
then-
agree with you.
Well-
and like what I was saying with our
like when
team
there
comp,
were times when it was like down to the last wound, especially in that last semifinal game. Like the only thing to do is wait for power and like play. Like we were both teams were playing really passive. There was a point at which I picked up my water bottle and took a drink and said like I was telling my team like, hey guys, we're like CLG EU, like this is like
But there-
taking
Yeah, the
forever.
CLG EU comparisons were so real.
But
Yeah,
there is a point where
Oh god.
even when you're waiting for power, like in Clash or stuff, I mean, I totally agree with you guys. I guess it kind of just depends on the pace of the game, is where like teams will snowball. So I agree with you guys on all those points. But like waiting towards Clash towards the end, I mean, like especially where it's like the battle for the last wound and the power bars are close, as you like see the game more and you play it, it kind of turns out you're gonna be able to like tell whether or not you're gonna have that last push for the wound, and it kind of turns into you'll see one side is gonna have to make that move. So there's always gonna, I feel like in Clash, during certain pushes, there's always that one team that's gonna play like passive and let the other team make the move because you really don't have to sometimes. You kind of just want to let the other team screw up and try and go for it if they want to.
Yeah, and
So I
even-
kind of feel like that's how wounds go. It's either you're gonna go for it or you're just gonna be like, let's just let the other team see what they do.
The
instead.
stream.
Yeah, I'm in so many pieces on your stream
Yeah,
right
they're
now.
all